Ray from Real Estate One.
Hi, this is Paula Johnson from Real Estate One.
And we are going to be having a really good talk today with Tim Crawford. Most of you know Tim in our Rochester location. He is the owner of Tim Crawford Insurance Company and Group on Walton Boulevard. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Good morning, Linda and Paula. How are you on a Monday morning?
It's Monday morning.
That it is.
They're all Monday mornings anymore, aren't they?
With this virus, that is fact. As you can tell by my hair.
Okay, on a serious note, Tim, I really wanted to see if we could speak to the public, especially our buyers and sellers and all the good citizens of our location that really needs to maybe hear some of the things you're going to say today. You've experienced a lot of do's and don'ts. And I have found with my ex-insurance man that there was a lot of times that I could have been educated in things that would have profited me in my home's insurance had I just had the service that you provide.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to talk about home insurance. If you could chat with us a little bit about, I use that word chat so much lately because as we talk on virtual tours with my clients, we're actually having a chat with them on the phone as we walk through the virtual tour with them. So I will use that sparingly, I hope. But Tim, let's talk about home insurance. Over the years, what do you see some of the most common mistakes that people make?
I would say there's probably three, and one of them is not having adequate insurance in the event of a water backup. So water that would come up from a sewer or a sump pump or a sump pump failure, not having adequate coverage for that part of the policy is unfortunately more common than not. And it is one of the most common losses that we have on homeowners insurance policies.
Well, I found that to be a case in my home in Rochester that I was not really made aware of it. Maybe I should have known or asked, but I would just assume that that's service from an insurance man to go over my policies and guide me through the things, especially if you're quoting that that's one of the most common things. And much to my shock was when I found out how much it cost to add it to the policy, it was shocking. It was like $75 a year or something crazy like that. So we did have some water damage at one time with the water backup, and that's exactly what brought that to my attention. However, it was on my other homes with the same insurance company, so I would have thought that they would have gone over that. So kudos to you for service. Paula, do you have a question regarding home insurance for Tim?
No, I had a very similar situation happen at our house too. And I thought we were covered when we went over that with our insurance guy. And obviously he said, no, you needed to tell me you wanted to add that. So Tim, how do you go about servicing your clients so they don't have that same mistake?
We actually like to provide a second opinion instead of a quote. You know, to me, a quote is nothing more than a price comparison. And price is not the true answer of what's a true coverage. So we do a second opinion. So we try to look at our prospects' insurance and then do a review of coverages first. And then certainly price is a critical part of it. But I think having a discussion on the coverage piece is also just, if not more important. And water backup is one of those areas that we have a conversation with all, even our policyholders on their renewals because of such a critical issue. Remember, in auto or homeowners insurance, when you have a water loss, almost all of it is covered without limitation minus the deductible, except for this water from a sewer or a sump pump failure. So it's certainly something that needs to be talked about, and make sure that you have adequate insurance for the potential damage that you could have in your basements, especially in the fact that so many people are building out their basements and putting significant dollar amounts in that build out. So they just got to make sure they have adequate coverage to do that. The second piece on the homeowner side that we see a lot is It's actually called inland marine, or protecting your jewelry, your expensive bicycles. We are so blessed in so many ways in our community. But one of those is the Bank Creek Trail, all the different bike trails and walking paths. And that leads to people buying more and more expensive bicycles. It's not uncommon for some bikes to be over a couple $1,000s. And most people don't have those covered for the type of things that you're on a bike path, you stop, you go in for lunch, and you come back and your bike's gone. You know, you could buy coverage for that. Again, it's pennies on the dollar, but it makes certain that if that were to happen to you, that you've got adequate coverage for that. So, and the same thing with jewelry. You know, we have a lot of things happen where the diamond falls out of an earring or falls out of a ring, and you don't know about it until it's later. So, scheduling the items of importance like jewelry, watches, furs, bicycles, golf equipment, photography equipment, those things should be scheduled and reviewed at least on a every other year basis with your insurance agent.
Wow. All right. Did you have a third one that you wanted to speak to, or?
The third one is the liability. Making sure that you have adequate liability insurance, because homeowners liability is not premise liability. It's much broader, and it includes everything for the most part, other than automobile related accidents, for a family. So you could be on a golf course in a golf cart and you wreck a golf cart and it hurts somebody that you're with. Nobody would think that that's covered in your homeowner liability policy, but it is. So the definition and the coverage is so broad on a homeowner policy. Again, having adequate liability limits, and then in addition to that, having something what we call a personal umbrella policy is very important and strongly recommended, especially in a high net worth, high income area that we're fortunate enough to be able to live in.
And it's really affordable, isn't it?
It is, especially, I mean, the cost for liability and your umbrella is, again, very inexpensive. A personal umbrella policy could be as low as $180 or so for $1 million, depending on how many vehicles and youthful operators and those type of things.
That's really good information. Paula, you have a statement that I think is really important.
Do you think we should walk through our homes and take videos of everything?
Well, remember the responsibility to verify loss is that of the policy holder. So you could have great coverage, but if you're unable to document what you owned at time of loss, it certainly makes sense to take a couple minutes, open up, take a quick video of each room, open up your drawers and your dresser drawers and your drawers in your other rooms, and just verify so that you film it so that it's easier for you at time of loss. And the unfortunate benefit or situation, if you'd have to pull it up, that way you could document what you had at the time of loss, and it just saves you a significant amount of time.
Well, it's so easy to do now, too. I can remember the days when we had to video it and put it in a safe somewhere. Now they can just go into you can email them to yourself, go in the cloud, whatever, and the insurance company doesn't have to be responsible for that any longer. You do that as your own, right?
Correct. And you can do it on your cell phone and put it in the cloud. I mean, but it certainly saves significant time at the time of a loss when you're distraught anyhow and you're going through the frustration of that. Having that information right out front just makes it a lot easier for all parties involved.
Okay. Anything else on a home that they should probably know that they wouldn't currently know? I think that the unknown is what I'm concerned about. And having an agent that services you, as we do in the real estate company, we know there's a lot of things people don't know. And I just can't imagine not sharing all those don't knows to the clients to make sure they do know so that they're not lost. And having an insurance server like yourself, this is exactly what I think that I want to push a lot is that you're going to have our backs. We're going to get back to really busy times again. And just people having a review of their insurance policies. And the other one I might want to speak to, Paula, is full replacement.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's the biggest concern. I think when a lot of times when our home buyers buy a home and they're shopping for insurance, they're looking for that cheap dollar, but they need someone to really educate them. It's not about the cheap dollar. It's about you want full replacement value. I always say that to my clients. Wow, how did you get that price? And they'll say, well, this. I said, no, you need to talk to them again and say full replacement value.
Yeah, there's two pieces, right? So you have replacement cost on the building itself, on your home itself, but you also have it on your contents, right? So, you want guaranteed replacement cost on your home. So it guarantees that it'll pay up to 120%. Some carriers will offer 125% of the actual covered property limit. So you want guaranteed replacement costs. So in the event that your home had appreciated significantly from when you purchased it, you have adequate coverage. And likewise, on the contents, you want to make sure you have guaranteed coverage, not actual cash value. Actual cash value is, replacement cost minus depreciation. But who wants to buy a depreciated TV in today's environment, or depreciated clothing? So you just want to make sure you have guaranteed replacement costs and replacement cost on your contents.
Yes, that's really good information because I can't imagine if somebody had a fire, if you just closed your eyes and tried to tell me everything that's in your living room or in your dining room, your cabinets and so forth, your silver, your whatever. Just you couldn't even possibly begin to not miss those things, and it would be just so good to have that there to review. And we hope that nobody has to go through it.
A time when I literally picked up a client at Red Roof Inn who had a fire the night before. Her and her daughter, the only thing they had left were the clothing, the pajamas that they were literally in, and a toothbrush that Red Roof Inn gave them. And we took them over the next morning to Walmart, of all places. But just to be able to buy the essentials, they were literally in their pajamas when we took them over there to be able to shop and to get started and putting their life back to normal.
Boy, you see a lot of things, don't you? What is maybe a takeaway from him of the most important thing that a client should know?
The most important thing, I think, that you should take a video, probably update it every year, every 2 years, right? Make sure you talk to your insurance person on a yearly basis to see if there's anything that we need to tweak your.
That's kind of a recap. But Tim, do you have one thing that stands out that you think most people do not bother to ask that they should?
I think in today's world, we talked about the liability side, but also making sure that the key things are scheduled. It's like I said before, the higher priced bikes, golf equipment, cameras, jewelry, and especially if you add a piece of jewelry or over the year, you should just review as much as you can with your insurance agent. Maybe not every year, but certainly every other year, just to make sure that you have the right coverage in the event of a loss.
That's huge because I know, like, I do that with the jewelry. I never thought about my camera, but you're talking $5,000 for a camera, and I didn't even think to put that on there.
Well, it could be. Does that cover theft as well?
Sure.
As far as your
when
camera?
You schedule it, it's all risk. So material disappearance is covered just like without even a sign of forcible entry. So when it's scheduled on an inland marine policy, you pick up that added exposure, that added coverage. And we're blessed in our agency. We have a very experienced team that does the reviews as well as most of our new business. And, I can't say enough about how fortunate we are to be blessed with such an experienced professional team, just like you guys.
Tim, what sets you apart from most insurances, and what makes you so successful?
I think, it gets back to, we recognize the beauty and the benefit of living in a community. And I think the fact that we're very involved in the community in lots of different capacities, through all kinds of different organizations, We truly believe in the buying local, especially in today's world, right? Getting
Yeah.
through the virus and getting businesses back up. We have to, as a community, support the local businesses, or we could lose some of the businesses that we like the most. So I think one of our biggest benefit is we are known in the community. We give back. We have something called quote for a cause, where we give you a second opinion and we donate $10 to an organization of your choice, just to be able to give back. But I also think, experience is important, just as in your business.
Yes.
I've been in this since 1980. My degree is in insurance and risk management. I'm also a certified life underwriter. So I think we take pride in our professionalism, not just in me, but in my entire team.
Well, Tim, it's really been a pleasure talking with you on part one today, and that's about home insurance. And if everyone would stay tuned, we're going to go into another video, which will be covering part two of car insurance. And I'm so excited to talk to you about, because you've kind of given me some insight about what's coming. So bye, everybody, and we'll be posting Tim's information on the card soon.
Thank you. Appreciate the time, Linda and Paula. It's always nice to be able to touch base with you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Tim.
All right.